With so many players worried about the game state of Magic the Gathering, the prices, the fallout, and all the negativity blending into this market space, there is a sinister thing happening in the background that most players have missed, and I almost missed it myself. In today's video, we're going to discuss some of these hidden sales happening and the consolidation of certain cards leaving the market space. Sometimes you stumble across the unexpected. So you take a look to see what's going on, and by the end of that journey, you are left with more questions than you have answers. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here. Thanks again for hanging out with me on my channel today. And before we start today's video, a shout out and thank you to everyone who's been subscribing to the channel. And if you're new and you've just found my content, don't forget to like and subscribe. Help this channel get closer to 20,000 subscribers. Now, I have stated in previous videos, when we get to 19,000 subscribers, which is about 107 subscribers away, I'll be putting out a video. And this video will be all the rules for the 20K party. So when we do reach 20,000 subscribers, everyone will know what those rules are. And that video, of course, will be posted up on my main homepage, so you guys can always view it just to get reference to what's going to be happening, and so you can better prepare yourselves when we get there. Timing will be everything. So if you're new to the channel, like and subscribe. New content every day of the week. Let's get down to the brass tacks here. I was doing some research for some other videos that will be up and coming when I stumbled across something very unusual. I noticed a lot of unusual sales in areas of the market space that I was not expecting to see. So when this came along, I started looking deeper into it, tracking the sales, checking with a few of the vendors and stores, looking at some wish lists and likes, and I found it a little surprising. Now, let me share with you the first card. This is Tormod's Crypt, specifically the copy from the Dark. Now, this card, of course, is an old school card. We are talking 1994. Not the most well-loved set, but a card like this has had massive uses forever. And the entire production of this card is 269,000 copies that were ever made. That's all that was ever in existence of this original series, which is the Dark, okay? So if you're thinking of this card and you wanted an OG original, there's only 269,000 in the world. So what I started looking at is I was looking for some other videos on the Dark because I noticed unusual sales in the last few months, and I started noticing a real uptick in this particular card's sales. So much so that in Canada, it's sold out. I couldn't find any for sale. When I looked on TCG Player, the US, yeah, there was some, but not a ton. I looked on things like Card Market, again, very limited supply, and the price, although it's falling, there's not a lot of copies going up for sale. And the ones that do, if you check like eBay and stuff, you're going to notice that it has massive shipping fees attached to the card. And that wasn't the only one. Here is Ball Lightning, again, from the Dark. Now, when you take a look at Ball Lightning here, of course, it's an amazing card, old school card we all used to use. Trample, it can attack the first turn it comes in, has haste, which, we didn't call it back then. 6/1, we put like Bloodlust and like Berserk and stuff on this thing. It was a crazy good time. But again, you can find some in the US, but Canada is pretty much sold out. And if you wanted to buy some on TCG Player and ship it to Canada, you're looking at around $80 Canadian. Very unusual for a card that's had so many printings. Here we have Witch Hunter, Strip Mine, specifically Unlimited Lands, and cheaper cards from Arabian Nights. Now, these cards are all selling. Multiple copies. Harder to find every day. And of course, not a lot being relisted. When you see situations like this, there's a few things that come to my mind, and I'm sure you guys all have, ideas on why this is happening, but generally, somebody who didn't have the opportunity before is either consolidating a larger position in this card. There are players who wanted a couple of copies they've always enjoyed, and now the price is right, like the old game show. But even better yet, people who think the market is going to turn around at some point and are taking advantage of lower prices, which mean they've got liquid cash. They have liquidity that most players, the average player, probably doesn't have access to, and they are gaining larger positions quietly. This also counts for cards like Tsunami, by the way, like Beta and Alpha Edition Tsunamis, a whole bunch of land destruction stuff. There was a whole slew of cards you could look at, and it's not that massive quantities are selling, it's that as they sell, nothing's being relisted, nothing's coming to market, which means there's nobody being either driven to find extra copies, or there's people just with price memory refusing to put that card back on at a lower price, which means they don't need to sell. So when I see consolidations in power like this, when I see cards leaving the market and not being reissued by other players who now see that there are some sales happening, it makes you wonder what people are thinking. I really think these are players out there who actually want to enjoy the card. They want to get an original OG copy. They've always wanted to have it, and the price is pretty good. But then the second half of the Moxman says there are players out there who have that kind of liquidity, who can sit back and absorb the market as the price falls. They're willing for the card to go to zero, just so they have a controlling stake. 269,000 copies worldwide for the Dark's production of that card is minuscule. You can go look up the print runs. They're all kind of estimated back in the day, but it's between 64 and 67 million copies total. So total production run, not copies. Total production run of those cards were issued, which means you're only talking like 100 and something thousand boxes worldwide for the Dark, because they were 60 card packs, 8 cards in a pack. They didn't have rares. They had uncommon 1, uncommon 2, uncommon 3. But you can look up the info, and I've done other videos on this. It's just the idea that a thing like Ball Lightning, a thing like Tormod's Crypt, where the print runs are not that high. And also cards like Preacher, there's a whole slew of cards that when I started looking at it, and some of these cards are on people's wish lists at local stores, bigger TCG stores, so when they do come in, there are players specifically looking for these cards at the new reduced price. They don't want to pay the old school high, super high pricing that we had in 2020, but they are willing to take advantage of lower price points. And that lends me to believe that most of you out there, this is the part I want to talk to you guys about, most of you who now know this, who are watching this video, I would not just slam your cards up there unless you have to. Don't just sell for the sake of selling. Unless you want the cash for something else. It makes me wonder what's happening. When I wonder what's happening, when I feel unsure of something, when I'm not 100%, or at least in the 90 percentile of knowing what I think is going on, I tend to sit back and watch what's happening to get more answers. Like the whole Fastbond question. The fact that Fastbond has been skewing around here with all kinds of dreams and ideas that it's going to be unbanned. And a lot of players are really not adverse to the idea of it being unbanned. It makes you wonder why there's so many sales. Week after week, month after month. Cards like this now, finally Fastbond is having an uptick. These cards are all still downtrending in price, which means they haven't hit the bottom. But since I know no new cards are coming to market, eventually you're going to have supply not meeting demand. And then all that's left are the highest price ones, which will cause an uptick in price. So again, I would not sell your cards right now. If you have those style of cards, you got old school stuff, 4 Horsemen, ABU, Alpha, Beta, Unlimited, even Collector Edition, I would not put this stuff on the market right now unless you're desperate for cash. I would hold on to your cards just for a few months to see what's going on. Because the prices aren't going up, but somebody is definitely buying at the lower prices. People are picking these cards up as they fall in price. And all you gotta do is look up some of your favorite cards that are old school stuff and see where the sales are happening. It doesn't take a lot of effort. It just takes a few hours work and you can find out. And if you don't know, email me. I'll be happy to look up some cards for you guys and see what's going on to the best of my ability. No, I'm not gonna shake the shingle for you and hit everywhere up at once, trying to ask every person I deal with, but I will do a cursory thing and let you know what I think is going on. Because a lot of this stuff right now really has me wondering. Because this isn't the first couple of Dark cards I've noticed. This isn't the first few Alpha, Beta, Unlimited. As I prepare for the 20K party, I'm looking at a lot of stuff. As I prepare for videos and upcoming videos on what's happening on the financial side of Magic, I'm looking at all these things and I'm compiling spreadsheets to see exactly where the sales are happening, what months, and generally where they're coming from. By the way, a lot of this is the US, in case you guys were wondering. A lot of these sales are in the US. So, interesting stuff to kind of factor in. But it always lends me to kind of wonder what's happening. Because we all hear the market is being trashed. The market is crashing. No one wants these things anymore. That's what I hear, and I'm sure you're hearing the same thing. The market's crashing, everything's going to zero. Nobody likes sealed. Nobody likes the individual old cards anymore. But now I understand some of these cards are playable. But not to the degree I'm seeing. Like Tormod's Crypt, me just cursory looking, got me to 200 plus sales in an hour of 2. Just looking at the sales listings, okay? And that's on my break time between shifts. Looking and seeing. And getting some emails back. And wish lists, the card's on 40 wish lists. The original version. 40 different wish lists. Some people looking for play sets of 4. Some people looking for 20 copies. Why do you need 20 copies of Tormod's Crypt? Interesting stuff. Interesting to see how we all hear the negativity, anger, and spite and hate about the game and the state of the actual financial side. And these are just... And then you jump over and somebody's buying this stuff. And they're buying it weekly. And they're not glutting the market, hitting it all at once. They're specifically going every couple of days, picking off cards here, picking off cards there. And these are not reserve list cards. These are all reprintable cards, pretty much, except for a couple of low-end reserve list stuff like Fastbond. Most of these cards are easily reprintable, but it's the OG versions of each one that are leaving. And in the case of things like Tsunami and those kind of cards, those ones all seem to be Alpha, Beta, Unlimited. Not the revised copies, which are super cheap, but I would still pick up at least a playset of 4, near mint, spend $5, buy it. Interesting stuff, guys. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Put some comments down in the comment section. Slam some stuff down there. Let me know if you see stuff going on at your local LGS. I'd love to hear from around the world, as I usually do. If you don't want names and stuff used, you can, of course, send me some emails. If you got some data, take some screenshots, let me know. Okay, guys? Thanks a lot for hanging out. Thanks for being with the Moxman, because we got more questions than answers, but we're going to find out the best of our ability. We're going to find out. Here we go. A big shout out and thank you to the amazing Patreon supporters and YouTube membership members who make daily uploaded content possible each and every day of the week. I look forward to seeing you guys on this weekend's live stream. Stay frosty and shop smart, shop as smart. I know. Welcome back to the Ramble Jamble. You're here at the end. You want numbers. Tormod's Crypt. 271. That's in a week. That's a week. That card averages 12 a week. That's weird. Ball Lightning. Dark Edition. Only the dark I counted. 106. Averaging, normally on a week, 1. Not going to talk about Fastbond. You can see that on the Saturday because I'm not done counting. Fastbond, we're going to wait. Witch Hunter, like 72. Averages 1. A whole bunch of... Arabian Nights cards, let's just say it averages 12 overall, and it looks like now it's averaging 40. Unlimited Lands averaging 10, now averaging 80. That's weird. I didn't go too in-depth, guys. It's just weird. Welcome back to the Marvel Cinematic Universe of the End, where I keep Deadpool in the background. And yes, people have noticed. It says, eat me. Guys, I don't know what to tell you. For a market that's as bad as it is, why are so many people spending hard-earned money on some of these cards? That's what I got to know. Now, I do know a couple of stores told me that it was trade-in value. People brought newer stuff like Shoulder of the Apocalypse, and they went ham on a whole bunch of the dark and unlimited stuff, okay? Which the store was happy to move, right? Even at these discounted prices, happy to move it because they got some cards that people were looking for, and that person who traded in got all kinds of crazy old cards they've always wanted, and it was specifically to build up some commander deck stuff. So it doesn't always have to be cash value, but it's interesting still that these cards sold, they're gone, they're not in the store anymore, and they're not being restocked because stores obviously are not taking a lot of old school stuff either. So that's the other thing of why things can't get sold. Crazy stuff out there. I love it. I love it because it lets you know that as bad as things are, they're not really that bad. It's just bad in one area. Over here, it's doing pretty good. It's just quiet. Nobody notices. And down there, yeah, there's something happening underneath the bed sheets. Nobody knows. Nobody cares. Until it's too late. Guys, thanks a lot for hanging out. Thanks for being here. Shop smart, shop S smart. And don't forget, 19K is going to be around the corner. Plan. Plan. Wish I could show you more.